Hello, everybody. Well, hiatus came early for us. We were supposed to do the show last night, but Danger Vanessa, she pulled an audible. She was not feeling well, so we are getting a Labor Day treat. We will be doing the book review of The Lost Pages this upcoming Saturday. Uh, now, I may not be there. We are going away for the day Saturday, and I don't want to commit to the show if we're going to be out on the road. So we don't know what time we're going to be getting back. So, like I said, I may not be there. So, but I did finish reading Lost Pages 3. I did get the tome. Tome looks very nice. I flipped through the tome, but I really didn't get a chance to really read it. But from what I saw in the tome and what I'm sorry, and from reading Lost Pages 3, I particularly like the way that the Diaz brothers are doing jazz. I really like, first of all, I love the fact that her build as a bodybuilder, uh, big bosom always helps. But also the full costume. In Lost Pages 3, when you see that first double page spread where she's standing by her motorcycle, and there's the spray paint mural of Krim on the wall. I mean, literally, as soon as I saw that page, uh, I immediately started hearing Motley Crue guitar riffs in my head. I mean, think about the opening to Girls, 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 SOS, and Kickstart My Heart. When you see those, when you saw that page, that's the first thing I thought of was those videos and how they started and how the song started with the like that harsh, hard guitar riff. And I'm like, oh, this is perfect. They're perfectly portraying Krim. Not Krim, jazz. So I really liked how they're portraying jazz. It's the only thing I really want to talk about. If I'm not able to make the show Saturday night, I'll do my own review. Because I know even if I'm not able to be on the show, I'll be a man of the chat. I'll be a man of the chat, and I will then on that Sunday following the book review, I'll do my own review on the show here. So you'll still get my opinion on the book. So, but I really did like the book. It has a very strong, I got that strong sense of how Marvel Comics feel from the 90s. So, very good. You can tell how these guys are real comic book fans. So I really liked it. So, but now because we didn't have the show, Miss Stippling and I were like, "Whoa." She was like, oh, so we can do something. I'm like, what are we gonna do? And she's like, let's just watch a movie. Let's just chill out and watch a movie together. I'm like, okay, we'll do that. So she went flipping through, looked through uh, Amazon, looked, and we ended up settling on Max. And she was like, well, they got Furiosa. I'm like, okay, yeah, well, we can watch it. Because I was working on something else also at the same time. I was working on those customizing my own comic book short boxes with taping photocopies of covers to the boxes. So I'm like, okay. So we watched it, and both of us had the same opinion. It was kind of as Miss Stippling put it, how it's like they established right from the very beginning her whole goal is to get back to her people in, I guess we call it the Garden of Eden, in the the area of abundance, as those raiders in the beginning referred it as, and they kept saying like her whole goal was to get back there. And the thing was is she had so many opportunities to abandon uh, where she was and to get back, and she never did. That was one of the things that kind of annoyed Miss Stippling. Now, keep in mind, Miss Stippling, either she'd never watched Fury Road or she couldn't remember Fury Road. She just kept saying she has so many opportunities to get back. Why doesn't she go back? And not understanding that this movie took you all the way up uh, to the start of uh, Fury Road. In fact, when they do the closing credits, they show you clips of Furiosa in Fury Road. Which again, that's one of the things that got me about Fury Road was it's a Mad Max movie, and Mad Max was relegated to being a side character. And that first Fury Road movie should have been called Furiosa, which again brought up one of those where it's like, okay, if you're doing a movie that's not Mad Max, and the fans made it clear that they didn't care for the fact that it wasn't a Mad Max movie. So why did the studio greenlit a prequel to a movie that the fans say they didn't want? And so that just annoyed me personally. She was kind of like she was focusing just on the movie part, but even she was pointing out like in the beginning when they have or in the movie when they have the tanker and they have the whole mural like of pressed metal and bent metal to form this mural on the side of the tanker. She's like, how would you have the ability to make that in this barren environment? And you're like they showed how like they just built the hauler so quickly, but so they were able to do the mural just as easily. It didn't really make much sense. And I guess so. And then of course, one of the things that bothered me was right off the bat was Furiosa's mom when they introduce her. Right off the bat, she's an expert shot, but they show in the very beginning when she's given the rifle from her sister that they don't have many bullets, and she gives her what bullets they have, but yet she's an expert shot. So I said to Miss Stippling, because she's the one that knows guns, I go, she's the pew pew person. I go, how often, how many shells per day would you have to expel in a month to be that good of a shot every single time with moving targets? And she was like, between like 10 to 20. You gotta keep in mind, she's been shooting for a long period of time. When she hunts with a high powered rifle. I don't know what type it is, so please don't ask me in the comments, or ask me in the comments and I'll get back to you on it. Which is another thing also, before I go too far, is please make sure you are liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting. Uh, it helps me out. But yeah, I don't know what rifle she hunts with. But again, she was the one who was saying how it's like how she would need to be shooting every single day for a month to be able to be that good of a shot. But yet, Furiosa's mom was that good of a shot right off the bat. So that kind of annoyed me also. Is how like we're in a barren wasteland and we haven't been introduced to the bullet farm, which again I thought was dumb as hell. We got a farm and it makes bullets, and so that's not the way it works. Same thing with Gastown. Gastown, that bothered me also. How, oh, we got a town. They just manufacture gas in abundance. And I'm like, no, this is dumb. No, that's not the way it is. So I had my issue. I had my issues. But again, this is supposed to be like a wasteland. That's what made the Road Warriors so good. Was they made it clear right off the bat in the very first scene that ammunition and guns and gasoline are a precious commodity not to be wasted. But yet, in both Fury Road and Furiosa, they're just shooting guns like crazy and they're driving. It was just, it was so dumb, and it doesn't even, it doesn't fit with the lore. I mean, and this is again, this is the big thing, is and Ronald Moore, when he did Battlestar Galactica, he said when you do a series like that, right off the bat, you have to create rules for this world that they're in, and you cannot break those rules. Well, you think about it, they established the rules in Road Warrior, but they didn't adhere to the rules in Furiosa, nor in Fury Road. So there's again, I have an issue with the fact that they've established rules, but they're breaking them. So, and then lastly, my bigger thing with the whole Furiosa was uh, you could see the budget on the screen. They spent way too much money on that movie, and that's the thing. George Miller, who did the original Road Warrior movie, you think about it. He told because he had such limited money, he had to be inventive with how he did his storytelling and told a much better story with less money when he did Road Warrior. So you could see it was just a jerk off of money right off the screen, and it's like the studio should have known better. They should have realized, especially after Fury Road, they should have said, "We will let you do this movie, but you're going to get a much more constrictive budget." And he could have told the same story with less money. He didn't need to waste so much money on, as Aaron puts it, it's a subgenre franchise. It's not a huge, big, but it never was a huge, big budget franchise. In fact, the Road Warrior, original Road Warrior, where it really became popular wasn't in the theaters. It was afterwards with VHS and movie rentals and whatnot. That's where it made its money. So the studios, yes, the movie came from the era of wasteful spending, and it shows. It truly shows. And people saying like, "Well, we're not going to get the," because the movie did poorly, and they said right off the bat, the studio said, "Okay, we're not going to do a third Mad Max movie." And it's like, well, good. And there's something like there's like the haters out there going, or the the activists, and like, you see, guys, we were supposed to get Mad Max, Mel Gibson is Mad Max, old man Mad Max in the third movie because you didn't like it. We're not going to get it. No, we don't deserve a third movie. Thankfully, we won't get a third movie because of this. And so, like I said, it was good that most Miss Stipley and I both were on the same page overall with our criticism of the movie. And then afterwards, when we were done, we were like, well, I was busy with what I was doing with the boxes, and she was, going through, scrolling, and she came across and she puts in, she or not put in, she started to stream from Max Chernobyl. Oh my goodness, we we got more enjoyment from watching Chernobyl than we did from watching Furiosa. In fact, we only watched 2 episodes because it was getting so late. We only watched 2 episodes of of Chernobyl, and both of us were like, we gotta go to bed, but we didn't want to. In fact, when we went to bed, we were lying in bed. We started talking about both Furiosa uh, and Chernobyl, and both of us were saying the same things again about Chernobyl, about how like this is a worldwide event that happened, and I was telling her how like I remember, uh, okay, it happened in '86, 92 or '93. I was probably '92. I was taking an English class at in college, and I remember we had to do a paper on Chernobyl, and the teacher was giving was raving about this. I guess previous student writing an article on Chernobyl and how the government did such a great job of getting everybody out of there by not telling them what was happening to avoid a panic. And especially like watching the movie, with watching the show, I'm thinking to myself, I was like, I thought the teacher was an idiot and an asshole to begin with. It's one of those where like I was taking because I had to take the class to get the credit. Uh, but he was a fucking idiot. And just the way he was going, just, the way he was going on about how, yeah, like, they did such a good job of evacuating because they didn't tell anybody, because they didn't have the infrastructure to get everybody out of there. So they waited till they had the infrastructure in place, or the organization in place, to then get everybody out of there. And now keep in mind, it is a TV show based on real life events, so how much is true is not. But how they did it in Chernobyl in the TV series was that it wasn't until word got out in other till world got out across the world, and the world discovered that there was an issue in Chernobyl, and how the Americans were taking satellite photos, and how rad meters were getting so high in Scandinavia, and how even in Frankfurt, Germany, they're keeping the children inside and not letting them play outside, and how Chernobyl wasn't telling anybody like the USSR wasn't telling their people anything, and their people are out uh, going to school and playing basketball and just walking around, and how they weren't taking any precautions. And then there's a hospital scene where there are these people outside watching the fire at Chernobyl, going, "Oh, isn't it so pretty? Look at the pretty colors," and how they're dying of how the next day they're like in the hospital dying of radiation. And it's one of those where it's like, yeah, I that this is what I believe. Not my the teacher I had was an idiot, and I remember thinking of him as an idiot in school, but and it was a long time ago, but it's really I just remember being very annoyed by him, and I did enough to get uh, I did enough to get my to get a passing grade, but I really didn't try for that teacher because I thought he was an idiot. So, in fact, I had read the book The Woman Warrior, and we had to do a mythology paper and presentation. I did my on it, and the thing about uh, what I guess my primary focus on it was about uh, how it was done in a misogynistic society. So it was a it was a myth of strength for women. And when we had to do our final exam, it was based on our lectures, presentations to the class. And we got to pick the questions. And I remember my question was, what was the theme about it? And I said that it was about, uh, it was strength for women. He goes, no, that's not what it was about. And it's like, fuckwad, this is my paper. I'm the one that did the research. I'm the one who read the book, and you're telling me I'm wrong? That's not what it was about? So the question on the test that was from my paper was uh, basically how the fighting methods utilized were based on animal were based on uh, animal actions. So, which again, that kind of annoyed me because I was very adamant because I remember reading The Woman Warrior and being very impressed by it. In fact, uh, the movie Mulan, if you anybody remember the movie Mulan, the movie Mulan is based on The Woman Warrior. So if you ever want to know what the Mulan was based on, read The Woman Warrior. I think it was by Amy Tan. Very good book. I enjoyed it immensely. So, guys, I gotta finish up here because we're going over to the Harrisburg Comic Con. We're just going over there to look around. Probably like we're going for the latter part of the day, so we'll probably because with these small shows, you'll have vendors with like these huge setups of comics, and they're like dollar bins. And at the end of the day, the dollar books go for 50 cents, or you can buy. They'll have. I remember the one last year. They had a guy, and he had a big, huge table set up, and he had signs on the front of the boxes that you buy the box for $100, you fill it up. And by the end of the day, he had new signs up that said buy the box for $60 or $40 and fill it up. So we're going to go for the later part of the day to look around, and then I'll pick my table and like, okay, this is the table I want to go to. Of dollar boxes, we'll just get all these books. So, guys, I'm going to have a great day. You guys all have a great day. Remember, sometimes life is stressful, but when it is, you just take it all one dot at a time.